Hey guys, back with another video. Breaking news. Breaking freaking news. Detroit police officer has been arrested and charged with accosting a child. He was sending inappropriate text messages to his new wife, daughter, which is 12 years old. He's newly married to the little girl's mom, and he's already preying on her. Things like this is like beyond me. Like, I just don't understand sometimes. Like, this is ridiculous. But good thing the 12-year-old told her dad and other people, and this is how he was able to be brought to justice. So let's jump into these news clippings.
Detroit police officer charged after an alert dad took action to stop a man he says was trying to prey on his 12-year-old daughter. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Simon Shakette. The girl's father gave investigators what's been described as sexually explicit text messages.
Police in Warren are leading the investigation and have released the suspect's mugshot because they are trying to determine if there are any other victims out there.
7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wimbley has more details on the felony charge the officer is now facing, as well as fallout from within his own department.
A Detroit cop is behind bars tonight, accused of accosting a 12-year-old girl. That officer romantically involved with the victim's mother. Now Officer Earl Anderson could lose his badge and his freedom. He was charged with accosting a child for immoral purposes, a 4-year felony on Tuesday, after allegedly sending several improper text messages to his girlfriend's daughter. 7 News Detroit does not typically broadcast booking photos, but police are investigating the possibility there may be more victims.
The messages that are observed between Mr. Anderson and this 12-year-old child are inappropriate. They are sexualized in nature.
Warren Police Detective John Tallow says the investigation began in February with the victim's father discovering and coming forward with the text messages. Anderson's neighbors are stunned.
It's scary because I have 2 daughters that live next door.
I got me a 14-year-old. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what I would do if I would find out something like that.
We want the community to know, to have your parents, to make sure the parents are monitoring, okay? Make sure that they're looking at their children's social media accounts, text messages, internet searches. These areas are where people like this tend to try to prey on children to gain access to them.
Warren Police says its investigation is not over. DPD is conducting an internal affairs investigation.
Once we learned that the charges were issued yesterday, we immediately suspended him.
Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison will recommend the Board of Police Commissioners suspend the 2-year veteran without pay. Anderson could also lose his badge.
We have a very high standard of conduct, and he, from what I've read in these messages, has tarnished our appearance, and he in no way represents the vast majority of Detroit police.
Anyone with information about the case or others involving Anderson is asked to call Warren PD. Earl Anderson is locked up on a $200,000 cash bond. If he gets out, he'll have to wear a GPS tether. He cannot have any contact with the victim or anyone under the age of 17 for that matter. He's due back in court in 2 weeks. I'm Randy Wimbley.
Sure, you delete all these text messages. That was the instruction a Detroit police officer is suspected of sending to a 12-year-old girl. That text and others is leading to his arrest and suspension by the Detroit Police Department. You might remember last night at 11, we reported the DPD suspended Officer Earl Raynard Anderson Jr. from his duty.
Warren investigators say he, quote unquote, preyed on a 12-year-old by sending her sexual and inappropriate text messages. The victim, deputies say she's the daughter of his new wife. Local 4's Shantae Passmore spoke to investigators about the case. Shantae, what led to his arrest?
You know, this all unfolded when that 12-year-old victim came forward. After texting back and forth, she told someone about that exchange. Then when her father found out about it, he did what any parent would do to protect their child. Tonight, Detroit officer Earl Raynard Anderson Jr. faces one count of accosting a child for immoral purposes.
It's very disturbing. This is an individual who took an oath to protect the community, and instead of protecting the community, made a decision to prey on a 12-year-old.
That 12-year-old, detectives say, his new wife's daughter. The Macomb County Prosecutor's Office tells Local 4 the alleged crime happened in Warren on February 22nd when the Detroit officer reportedly sent inappropriate text messages to the victim. Timestamps show the conversation started just before 2:30 a.m., lasting more than an hour. The text shows how he asked to keep their conversation private before the girl responds with how her dad goes through her phone. Then he tells her to delete their messages, writing they'll go on a family trip soon. Later, he asks if she needed a second phone before explaining how her iPad is connected to her iPhone. Again, he tells her, make sure to delete their messages, even the ones in trash. We asked our crime and safety expert, how soon should parents talk about the dangers of smart devices and online safety?
5 and even earlier.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, just saying that there are people that aren't necessarily good people, and making sure that your young person understands that, you know, sometimes grown-ups don't always do the right thing.
Meanwhile, Warren police are praising the girl for telling an adult about the interaction.
We can't tell her enough how proud we are of her and her family for coming to us with this issue.
And meanwhile, that Detroit's officer's bond is set at $200,000. He is expected to appear back in court later this month. As far as what is next for Warren investigators, they tell me that they are looking at electronic devices to see if there are any other additional victims. If you know any information about this case, you're urged to contact Warren PD.
All I can say is this man is sick. Like, what in your right mind? You are a whole police officer. What in you, like, literally throwing away your career over something like this is crazy to me. It's insane. He needs to be put away for a very long time. They need to take his pension. They need to take everything from him. He don't need to be around no kids. If he has kids, he should not have rights to be able to see those kids, be around them. None of that. He's at this point, he's a pedophile. Because why are you trying to coerce a 12-year-old into deleting text messages that shouldn't even be in her phone in the first place from a grown-ass man? Like, did you marry her mom just to get close to her? Like, nowadays, you got to think about stuff like this. This is beyond sick. It really is. I'm so glad her dad was able to catch it when he did and report his nasty self. But let's get back into this next clip.
Breaking news, a Detroit police officer is now facing charges for allegedly sending inappropriate text messages to a young girl. 37-year-old Earl Anderson Jr. is charged with accosting a child for immoral purposes, a 4-year felony. Police Chief Todd Bettison says Anderson is suspended from duty while police investigate. Bettison also says he's submitting paperwork to have Officer Anderson removed from payroll as well. His bond is currently set at $200,000 and will appear in court on Tuesday, March 18th.
I just don't understand why these grown people are preying on our children. Not even just what he did, but also as far as abusing these kids, mistreating them, doing all these things when kids are the future. I can never say that word right, y'all. Sorry. But, like, why? What is it about the kids that's making these grown adults do the things that they are doing? Like, it's sick. It don't make sense. And they all need to burn. And y'all know what? Like, this, it bothers me a lot. But y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. I wanted to bring this video to y'all as soon as possible. Bye.